Shanghai fires the first shot, supply cut wave about to erupt. Chinese real estate companies desperate to cut losses, buy a house, get a private plane. Mainland Abuzz over viral shingles outbreak, authorities silent. From restaurant closures to brand decline, the middle-class mass exodus. IBM China revokes access for over 1,000 employees, sparking layoff speculations. China faces widespread hailstorms and floods, authorities remain silent. Resistance begins. Counselors unite to expose the truth behind CCPs' exploitation in universities. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Shanghai fires the first shot, supply cut wave about to erupt. In a significant policy shift, Shanghai Mayor Gong Xing recently unveiled a new plan involving 3 systems: periodic housing inspections, housing insurance, and housing pensions. This move, which netizens are calling a covert property tax, marks Shanghai as the first city in China to adopt these measures. Details emerged during the 15th expanded session of the Shanghai Municipal People's Congress Standing Committee on August 20, where Gong Xing outlined the phased implementation plan. The program will begin with pilots in districts like Pudong this year, with a broader rollout across the city slated for next year. Just 3 days later, on August 23, Deputy Minister of Housing and Urban Rural Development, Dong Jiangwo, announced at a press conference that not just Shanghai, but 22 cities will begin piloting these 3 systems. This announcement has sparked significant public concern. The financing of these systems, whether they will be government-funded or homeowner-paid, is a primary concern. Liu Jia, chief researcher at the Housing Policy Research Center of the Guangdong Urban Planning Institute, told Chinese media that the new housing systems would operate similarly to personal pension schemes, involving both individual and public accounts. However, given the ongoing disarray in China's pension system and the severe debt crises facing local governments, there is widespread skepticism that the government will bear the cost of these housing pensions. Netizens have largely interpreted these new systems as a disguised form of property tax, expressing concerns that it goes beyond merely extracting funds from property owners but rather represents a deeper and more aggressive financial burden. Discussions online reflect worries, with some highlighting that, in North America, such costs are justified by land privatization, but in China, where land isn't privately owned and houses are essentially temporary assets, imposing a housing pension is unreasonable. Others pointed out, those who were undecided about defaulting are now firmly resolved to do so, while noting that the state's relentless financial extraction from its citizens is without equal. The 3 systems are widely seen as a rebranding of property taxes, a covert form of levying taxes. If revenue generated through these systems is allocated to local authorities, it could lead to more aggressive implementation, with local governments intensifying efforts to extract funds from residents. Taiwanese economist Wu Jialong once told the Epoch Times that the CCP strategy to cover fiscal shortfalls involves seizing wealth, potentially granting local governments more autonomy to address their financial challenges. This approach, he warned, could result in a scenario reminiscent of the late Qing dynasty's fragmentation, leading to local divisions. Wu also anticipates that China might soon exhibit signs typical of dynastic decline, such as covert tax hikes, rampant money printing, inflation, widespread public distress, government oppression provoking dissent, and even peasant uprisings. Moreover, Wu predicts a series of crises that could ultimately lead to the CCP's collapse, austerity measures triggering deflation, followed by financial and fiscal breakdowns, culminating in the regime's downfall. Chinese real estate companies desperate to cut losses, buy a house, get a private plane. Chinese real estate companies are now resorting to selling homes at a loss, with some even going as far as offering extravagant incentives like private jets. At one sales office, a private jet was displayed, with the promise that if you buy a house, the jet comes free, along with full assistance in obtaining a pilot's license, so you can fly it home yourself. Previously, incentives like gold or Xiaomi SU7 smartphones were bold, but now, private jets have become the latest offering. Notably, this jet is the same model featured in Louis Fei's The Tale of Rose. In detail, according to a report by Caixin Media, China Merchants Sheko's Nanjing branch recently introduced a buy a house, get a private jet promotion at its China Merchants Bureau Center project in Nanjing. The package, valued at 200,000 yuan, around $28,086, includes a pilot's license, 100 flight hours distributed as 10 hours annually, and 5% ownership of a private jet. However, questions remain about the specifics, including what the pilot's license covers, the type of aircraft involved, and the details of the 5% jet ownership. When asked, the project's sales consultant did not provide details but mentioned that the package can be converted into a cash discount. The consultant further explained that few, if any, buyers are expected to choose the jet package. Most are likely to opt for the 200,000 yuan cash discount, which directly reduces the home price. If buyers choose the jet package, the house price remains unchanged, offering no real savings. As a result, nearly everyone prefers the cash discount over the jet package. This promotion is set to run until the end of August and applies to 4 unit types in the project. Reflecting on the market just a few years ago, such a scenario would have been unimaginable. Crowded sales offices were once a common sight for every Chinese person. Now, staff outnumber the few potential buyers, and even those inquiring are often just actors hired to create the appearance of interest. The Chinese real estate market has seriously cooled down. Mainland Abuzz over viral shingles outbreak, authorities silent. In August 2024, as COVID-19 cases surged again across mainland China, another virus, shingles, began to spread. Public discussions quickly intensified. A patient in Guangdong posted a thread titled "August's New Virus King," saying, "I can't believe I'm the only one with shingles. Ever since getting COVID-19, my body has weakened significantly. People who used to know me said I was always in great health. Now, the pain and itching at night make it impossible to sleep." Despite having few followers, the post drew over 2,000 responses, with many others sharing photos and reporting shingles on various parts of their bodies, including the back, neck, buttocks, face, around the eyes, and even the mouth. In Jiangxi, a patient noted, "Recently, many people have been getting shingles. When I went to the dermatology department to get medication, I noticed that many others had recently developed it as well. It feels like a new virus." One patient from Anhui described their pain as unbearable. "I have it under my armpit, and I've had to hold my arm up for a week because I can't let anything touch it." In Jiangsu, a woman who developed shingles inside her ear ended up with facial paralysis. Initially, she thought it was a middle ear infection and didn't pay much attention. Then after a day or two, my ear and head started hurting terribly. I rushed to the emergency room late at night, and the doctor suggested seeing an ENT specialist the next day. I never expected to wake up the following morning with facial paralysis. She added that after more than 20 days of treatment, the facial paralysis has shown no signs of improvement. Online discussions have been filled with similar topics, such as "Is shingles a new virus?", "Seeking help for shingles," and "Got hit by the new strain in August." In July this year, mainland Chinese dermatologist Duan Lanhua explained that the early symptoms of shingles include skin pain and lesions. She emphasized, this virus can spread through droplets and direct contact. The first time a person is exposed to it, it typically causes a primary infection, commonly known as chickenpox in childhood. After that, the virus lies dormant in the dorsal root ganglia of the spinal cord and cranial nerve ganglia. When the immune system weakens, the dormant virus can reactivate, rapidly replicate, and travel along the sensory nerves to the skin, causing shingles in the affected area. For prevention, she recommended 3 key measures: controlling the source of infection, cutting off transmission routes, and protecting vulnerable individuals. Amid growing public concern and confusion, Chinese authorities have notably remained silent. From restaurant closures to brand decline, the middle-class mass exodus. This year, 2024, Shanghai's once-renowned luxury dining landmark, Latelier 18, known for its high-end French cuisine with an average spending of 1,580 yuan, about $220 per person, suddenly shut down. Industry reports from Hongkong.com reveal that over the past 5 years, nearly 2,700 high-end restaurants in Shanghai with average spending above 500 yuan, about $70, per person have been hit hard. By July this year, more than half of these establishments had shuttered, reducing the number by over 1,400. The high-end dining sector across mainland China faces similar struggles. In response, some high-end restaurants have resorted to launching budget meal options, while others are introducing lower-priced sub-brands to stay afloat. The CCP's economic policies, designed to strengthen the state while weakening the people, have stifled the private economy, causing wealth to shrink and the middle class to gradually disappear. Consequently, high-end consumption, from restaurant closures to brand decline, is cooling off in China. Bloomberg cited Fitch Ratings analysts who reported that in the first half of this year, growth in China's catering industry slowed below 8% for the first time since 2010. This downward trend extends to sectors like apparel, cosmetics, and jewelry. A UBS report shows that from January to July this year, luxury goods sales in mainland China fell by about 10%, leading luxury brands to reconsider their expansion plans in the region. American economist Davy J. Wong told the Epoch Times that previously, China's high-end consumption was driven by three groups: officials exchanging luxury gifts, private entrepreneurs, and the middle class. Wong said that, according to a United Nations report, the middle class is the backbone of social stability. Regions with a robust middle class tend to have the most effective legal systems and optimized societal structures, excelling in education, healthcare, housing, and technological progress. A recent study by the Center for Strategic and International Studies, CSIS, highlights a significant shift in public sentiment in China. Fewer people believe in changing their fate through personal effort, while skepticism towards the CCP system grows. Many are now describing this period as historical garbage time, signaling a countdown to regime change in China, with a widespread belief that no one can halt the inevitable course of history. IBM China revokes access for over 1,000 employees, sparking layoff speculations. On August 24, 2024, Jiemian News reported that IBM China abruptly revoked access rights for employees in R&D and testing positions in cities like Beijing, Shanghai, and Dalian, affecting thousands and raising speculation of potential layoffs. A technical employee noted that before the shutdown, operations appeared normal with no warnings, and some staff were even working overtime. Affected employees have since been removed from product-related communication groups and can no longer log into the company's intranet via VPN, though they still have email access. The report indicates that the revoked employees belong to IBM V, which oversees the CDL, which refers to the IBM China Development Center, and CSL, which refers to the IBM China Systems Center, both focused on R&D and testing. Access rights were revoked nationwide, impacting roughly 1,000 employees, while after-sales and consulting departments remain unaffected. The company has scheduled meetings with affected employees for Monday, August 26, 2024. Despite multiple inquiries, IBM China has yet to respond. Globally, IBM has carried out several rounds of layoffs over the past 2 years. In January 2023, the company announced 3,900 job cuts, followed by a hiring freeze and plans to replace 8,000 roles with AI. The report also highlights recent layoffs within IBM China. Last year, a product line was cut, and some employees posted online that they received layoff notices in March and left by the end of July. Amid China's continuing economic struggles, there were earlier rumors that Microsoft would close all physical stores in the country, retaining only its online store and JD.com flagship store. On July 1, 2024, a Microsoft spokesperson confirmed plans to consolidate its channels in mainland China, ensuring customers can still access products through retail partners and Microsoft.com. China faces widespread hailstorms and floods, authorities remain silent. Recently, multiple regions across China have been continuously battered by hailstorms and floods. Homes have been submerged, farmland destroyed, and many people have been swept away by floodwaters, resulting in heavy casualties. Liaoning has been subjected to continuous heavy rains, causing several reservoirs to release their floodgates. As a result, on August 20, 2024, 5 townships in Jianshan County, Huludao City, were submerged by floodwaters, severing all communication. Meanwhile, in Liaoyang City, a 500-square-meter section of a riverbank gave way, necessitating the urgent evacuation of 49 households. According to CCTV, the flooding has led to 10 fatalities, 14 people missing, and 1 additional death. Ms. Wang, a villager from Jianshan County, said, "When the reservoir released water, it surged like giant waves. Everything was either submerged, soaked, or washed away. We've lost our homes. These reservoirs were contracted out to private individuals. Why didn't they release water earlier? They were afraid of losing their fish. When the water level rose too high, they had no choice but to release it." Mr. Hua, another villager from Jianshan County, said, "Yangshuan is a complete disaster. All the houses are gone, and all the feed and corn have been soaked and ruined. Inside the houses, there's nothing but mud. The cows in the barns were washed away. The losses are enormous. We need rescue, but there's no way to get help, no water, no electricity, nowhere to eat, nowhere to stay. It's truly heartbreaking, and the authorities haven't reported the casualties." Vision Times reports that the floods in Huludao City have impacted 188,757 people and caused economic damages estimated at 10.3 billion yuan, approximately $1.45 billion. Infrastructure damage includes 8 national and provincial highways and 210 rural roads, all affected to varying degrees, along with 187 bridges. The disaster has also led to significant power disruptions, with 40 transmission lines and 3,560 transformer stations offline across 29 townships, impacting 128,580 households in 286 villages. Furthermore, 6 main communication cables throughout the city have been destroyed, with 1,301 access cables severed at county, township, and village levels. Downstream in Chaoyang City, the Bailingshan and Jinling reservoirs on the Daling River, along with the Jintang Reservoir on the Newer River, have simultaneously discharged floodwaters. Jinzhou City is in a state of emergency, with roads closed and residents ordered to work from home since August 21, 2024. Meanwhile, Tongchuan, Yan'an, and other areas in Shaanxi have been struck by severe hailstorms. The hail poured down, instantly blanketing roads and courtyards like snow, causing extensive crop damage and leaving residents devastated. Guangdong has been hit by yet another round of heavy rainfall, with over 90 rainstorm warnings issued in quick succession. In districts like Xinqiang, Baiyun, Tianhe, and Yuexiu and Guangzhou, the rain has been so intense that many streets have turned into rivers, submerging cars and low-lying homes. Trains have been widely delayed, flights postponed, tourist sites closed, drainage systems overwhelmed, electric vehicles stalled, and shops shuttered, throwing the entire city into chaos. After days of relentless rain, multiple townships in Meizhou and Huizhou have been flooded, with crops submerged for days, leading to massive losses for farmers. Resistance begins. Counselors unite to expose the truth behind CCP's exploitation in universities. Over the past 4 years, the CCP has significantly intensified control over universities through the use of mobile apps to track students and counselors, enabling precise, individual monitoring. This effort includes the implementation of a new points-based assessment system for counselors, leading to significant unrest and protests within academic institutions. Recently, Changshu Institute of Technology in Suzhou implemented stricter assessment methods, utilizing a digital app equipped with GPS tracking and check-in functionalities to monitor counselors in real time. These measures, approved by the university president's office on August 5, have triggered widespread protests among the counseling staff. The assessment evaluates areas such as ideological education, class meetings, and student management, with performance and review evaluations totaling 100 points. Counselors who rank in the bottom 10% face repercussions, including warnings, suspension of promotions, and potential transfers without pay. the insider disclosed that poor scores are often attributed to incidents like student misconduct and negative online sentiment, placing undue blame on counselors during crises. Additionally, Changshu Institute of Technology, a public university in Jiangsu, mandates that counselors remain on call 24/7, often performing tasks such as late-night dormitory checks without receiving overtime compensation. These demanding conditions have fueled growing dissatisfaction among counselors, who describe feeling marginalized at the bottom of the university staff hierarchy, burdened with the most challenging tasks and the greatest responsibilities. They are also tasked with managing infrastructural issues, which frequently results in unjust blame and salary reductions. The university has further tightened controls post-pandemic by introducing a digital app that requires daily uploads of student interactions, enabling school leaders to monitor counselors' locations continuously. Such enhanced surveillance measures have escalated the monitoring and pressure on counselors. Xiao Shan, a former counselor, noted that applications like Today Campus have gained widespread use since the onset of the pandemic, initially for student management but increasingly for broader surveillance purposes. He highlighted that these systems have amplified the challenges faced by counselors, with every interaction being meticulously tracked. This increased oversight prompted Xiao Shan to leave his role, citing escalating censorship and control within universities, particularly following the pandemic. He also pointed out that the shift from department-wide to individual points deductions in the new assessment system has sparked considerable dissatisfaction among counselors, as these more detailed evaluations severely impact their career prospects. Xiao Shan revealed that previous instances of collective opposition among counselors primarily stemmed from unfair treatment. In response, university leadership would adopt a divide-and-conquer approach, dealing with individuals separately, starting with the main instigators, which eventually led to varied outcomes for everyone involved. Counselors, often referred to as 007 for their around-the-clock responsibilities, face immense pressure to maintain stability while juggling multiple tasks such as party building, student unions, job placements, and more. The overwhelming workload, coupled with high expectations, has led to stress-induced health issues among long-term counselors, including conditions like high blood pressure and irregular heartbeats. Some have even developed depression due to the high-pressure environment, which in some cases leads to outbursts or acts of rebellion. Moreover, younger counselors struggle significantly under such stringent control, with instances of quick resignations or confrontations with leaders highlighting the untenable working conditions. Xiao Shan compared this to a grid management system, noting that the layered control extends to keeping everyone, including counselors, under strict surveillance. Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.